Right, good morning. So today, one of the major jobs I'm going to do, it's kind of a grey day, which is actually sometimes the best days for transplanting things. You don't want things to be too hot, you don't want them to be too cold, so it's probably just about right. And I'm starting to tidy up my beds, and one of the plants that I need to sort out is this little one. This little thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's called Viola Speckles, but as you can see, it seeds really, really well. And I don't really want them in the middle of my beds. I just want them here. They're really easy to dig up, but also the flower is so pretty. I don't know, get a nice look at it, but the flower is so pretty that it would be really nice if I could, after all this quarantining has gone over, that I could maybe give some of these plants out, because it's such a shame just to dig them up and then not use them for anything. One of my jobs today is going to be to pot those on, and then I'll probably put them over in my little mini nursery. And then I've got one other one that has produced me lots of babies, which is always very popular. So with the magic of editing, I'll show you what that is. So this beast of a hellebore has been here since we moved in. My mum has always loved hellebores, and she's never had any as prolific as this one. I don't know how old it is, but it is so well established. Every year it produces me lots of baby ones. And these babies will get shaded out. Oh, love birdsong. And then they will not survive. So what I'm going to do today is transplant them all into individual plots, as many as I can. And then, in fact, you can see some in there that I've already started to kind of not get enough sunlight and start to die off. I'm going to transplant the ones that look healthy into pots, and then I can give them out to people once everything's over, and they can have some lovely hellebores too. But over there, you might be able to zoom in for me, are some goldfinches, which are one of my favourite birds. But they're regular visitors now, and they like sunflower hearts. And we've got some starlings. Oh, and a pigeon, just wandering through. What I'm going to do is I am armed with a trowel and a fork, and I'm going to, there are some weeds in here, so I'm going to lift those out as well, but I'm going to lift the plants that I'm not so interested in keeping, like so, making sure that I take roots with them, and then literally, as you see there, and then I can even split those, hopefully. So I've got at least two there, might keep that one together, and I just put them in my tray for later. So they're quite well established, they've got decent roots on them, so that's good. Should be relatively easy for me to just plant, and I should be quite successful. The only thing I need to make sure is that I water them regularly to begin with, just until they're established, and then just keep watering them to ensure they don't lose water. When they're in a pot, they're much more likely to not quite get enough water as much as they need, so just important you keep watering them. These ones I've decided to transplant. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, probably put those two together, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I don't like odd numbers, so I'm going to find one more. 12's a nice number. Yeah, so hopefully then they'll establish themselves. I can give them out to some people when we're allowed to escape our homes. Just lift some from the end of here, because it's spreading really well. So just gonna lift one from here. There we go, for number 12. Perfect. I don't have any fancy greenhouse or potting on sheds or anything like that. What I do have are pots that are just reusable pots, and some standard general purpose compost. Probably there's some more advanced thing you're meant to do, but this is what I've got. All I do is, because I can put all the pots in these trays like this, I'm not too worried about drainage. In fact, you know, if I was doing a bigger planter, I might put some crocks in the bottom to slow down drainage, but because the water's going to get captured in these trays below, I'm not too fussed about that. So all I'm going to do is fill up the pot with some compost. probably meant to water it in, but I'm going to do all of that at the end. Fill it in, push it down a bit, compact it a bit, and then all I do is make a hole with my finger, like so. Put them in like so. Just make sure you don't damage the roots too much. If you've got ones with really big roots, then I would suggest holding them in and filling them around. And then just a little bit more compost around. Hard to do with one hand. And pat it down. The reason I put all the pots in at the beginning is so that, as you can see, when it tumbles out, it starts to fill the other pots. And there we go. One little seedling. So here are the baby hellebores. Here's mummy, babies. They're much, much smaller than the viola freckles. So probably what I'll do is I'll put 2 of these seedlings into each pot. Also, when I lift them, I'm much more likely to lose some. Not all of them will survive. Now, I've done this before, and I did this 2 years ago, and some of those babies are now got new homes, so that's great. Hoping more success this year, because last year I wasn't as good at watering them, but now I'm at home more. Hopefully I'll definitely be watering them at the beginning to get them really established and continue to water them. Hellebores generally like shade. This one unusually is quite sunny, but I think it's one of those things that they normally get out-competed by taller things, so they cope in shade, but they'll still do well in the sun. So this one's done really, really well. It's producing new seeds already for this year. These are probably last year's seeds that are coming through. So I'm going to show you how I lift them. Again, just literally place your trowel underneath. But the difference now is, you can see just all the little seedlings in them. And I'm going to pick the ones that have decent roots. Any that I didn't manage to get decent roots on, then I will leave behind. They'll be sacrificed to the decomposers in the soil. This one, it's got a bit of a root on it, so that's good. I could definitely use that one. Some of them might not be so good. So this one, you can see, has already started to wilt a little bit. It's getting a bit floppy, trying to find the sunlight. So, but we'll give them a chance. These are some that I found kind of a bit more underneath the hellebore. And you can see that already they're kind of wilting and dying. So I'm not going to pick these ones. However, you can see I'm not even halfway around and I've already got this number to transplant. So these ones will break back down, provide nutrients to the soil, which is good. So I'll just put those back under there, and now little decomposers will do their work. In a moment I'll show you the final haul of freebie plants from this mummy. But I would say we're probably near 100 maybe. And so what I've done is I found enough pots for 42. 4 that I'd already filled over there, and then these all here, which I'm going to fill up with soil. I'm going to aim for 2 seedlings in each pot, which should get us up to about 84, and then I'll let you know if it gets any higher than that. So what I'm doing with these round pots is I'm putting them into the green tray, filling them with soil, because with the round pots particularly, when you're filling them, they often overspill. So although I don't have a proper like potting on shelf or a potting bench, this way I capture all of the loose soil in the tray, and then I can tip it into a pot at the end. If you don't have a potting bench or something like that, this is a really good way of being able to have the same kind of idea but on a much smaller scale. So in the end we've got the 12 viola freckles, and in the end around about 116 to maybe 120 hellebores. Some of them I've had to like put 3 in a pot because there are so many, but they tend to be the smaller, weaker ones. I would expect only about half of them to survive. So if we get 50 that survive that I can give to other people, that would be amazing. Watered them in, just give them a good soak, and then we'll see how they do. Some of them are out here, mainly the violas, and then most of the hellebores are under there, and then above are seedlings. These are my mystery seedlings because I planted them and didn't label them, so they'll be fun. They're all vegetables, and maybe once they've grown a little bit I can do a little vlog trying to work out what's what. And then this is actually a hellebore that probably is 2 years old, so they grow quite slowly in pots. Once they're in the ground they do much better. I'll show you some from previous years. Down here in the shady side of the garden alongside the house, these are 2 from either 1 or 2 years ago, and you can see that they've really established themselves now. So really It's great what you can do with some fruit plants. They're great at filling in some gaps, preventing other weeds coming through. It's brilliant.